Welcome to Married with Gaming. Today we are taking a look at Shadowdark.
Hello and welcome to our channel. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jen.
And today we're going to be making characters for Shadowdark.
A few days ago, I did a look-through of the book and kind of just my first impressions of it. And it's a little bit different than the typical, 5e Forgotten Realms setting.
Well, yeah, it has 5th edition as kind of a backbone to it. So if you played 5th edition or almost any version of D&D, this is not going to be unfamiliar at all to you. It's going to enter the realm of kind of your play old school essentials or BX. Kind of leans that way, where it's a little bit more risk reward, dungeon delving.
It feels a little grittier, it seems like.
Yeah, there's no... Well, one thing is, we can get into that later, but there's not the superhero feel or the multiple death saves for everything.
Right.
And some of the important things, just right off, light sources matter. It's a dangerous kind of setting, so you got to think before you act. And most of the game seems to focus on the delving, the actual going into a dungeon. And not so much the fantasy romping around the world.
Right.
So first, yeah, go ahead.
So how do we make a character?
Well, of course, first you're going to have to roll your stats. And if you're going straight by the book, no house ruling it, you're going to do 3d6 straight down the line.
Okay. Well, I have my handy dandy pink dice, so I'll roll first.
I can do it at the same time.
So 7 for me, 7 strength. Now this game does have a rule where if you didn't roll 14 on any stat, then you could re-roll all of them again, right?
114.
Right.
Not 14 in a stat.
If you didn't get at least 114 or better.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the way it reads.
Lucky for us, we don't have to redo that. All right, next is Ancestry. So Ancestry there are 6 basic ancestries: dwarves, elves, goblins, half-orcs, halflings, and humans. In this game, each ancestry does not have any bonuses to stats or attributes, but they do have a perk or a special talent for each one. So you can either choose your ancestry, or there are 6, so you could roll a d6 for your ancestry as well.
Yeah.
So I like to roll, so I'm going to roll.
Well, with that, there are in some of the supplements, of course, a lot of the more familiar things that you'd see in a 5e or even other AD&D or D&D games that have been kind of, retconned, fashioned into it. If you wanted to include that stuff.
Right. But for today, we're just going to stay basic, right? So I'm going to roll, and I got a 3, which is a goblin. So I'm going to be a goblin, and goblins' perk is they have keen senses, so they can't be surprised. What did you get?
Human. I didn't roll. I'm going to be human.
What's the human perk?
The human perk is they get an additional talent roll. And those are kind of like a class ability...
Feat
kind of thing.
Okay.
Just because, as we'll get into it, you don't build your character. You roll, and that's what you get as you advance. You get a new trait every level. So you kind of, for some people, I think that's good because you don't have to spend all that time trying to min-max and whatever. And also, like myself, I don't really like when people build characters because then it seems like they're on a path and they can't change.
Yeah. And so next would be classes.
And the classes that we have are your standard 4 if you've played D&D for any length of time. You have a fighter, priest, a thief, not a rogue, and a wizard.
Which I have a little bit of a problem because I don't think I'm good at any of this. My best stats are con and wisdom. So I don't really know.
Well, I do. I'm going to go with the wizard because I got a 17 in intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to play to my advantage there.
Well, I'm definitely not going to go thief or fighter, so I can only do priest or wizard. So I'll probably go priest, I guess. With a good con, I will go priest. A goblin priest. Level 1. Okay, so again, they have more classes in the magazines that I looked through the other day. They had like witches and different things like that. But we're just going to use the 4 basic today.
I think the 4 basic, in my opinion, pretty much covers it. Mm-hmm. And then you can add your own flavor. So let's crack the book and see what you get on the talent roll and the other.
Okay, so your talent rolls are based on your class. So you said you are a wizard. Oh. So you are going to roll a 2d6.
8.
You gain advantage on casting 1 spell that you know.
And since I'm human, 6.
+2 to intelligence stat or +1 to wizard spellcasting checks.
I'll go to the plus to the check.
Okay.
Because that seems like that'll work better.
Okay. And then for a priest class, I will roll my 2d6 and I have 6. So +1 to melee or ranged attacks. Well, my dex is slightly better than my strength. So I'll probably go +1 to ranged.
Although you could pick the plus to make up for the deficit.
That's true, I could.
I guess that's a character build. So I was wrong about building a character.
Yeah.
I mean, just you're using your, make an intelligent choice on how you want to play or survive.
Yeah.
Hit points. These are rolled.
Okay,
even at first level, correct?
Yes, they are rolled at first level. So your hit points as a wizard.
I think it's a 6.
Is a d6? Yeah, 1d4 per level.
Oh yeah, this is old. I didn't have d4.
Oh.
I'll just roll in a minute.
Okay, you'll roll it in a minute. And I have, as a priest, I think it's a d6. Yeah.
Yeah,
D6.
that's where I was getting confused.
So I'm going to roll my d6. I rolled a 2, and I got a +2 con, so I'm going to have 4 hit points. Okay. Next we have backgrounds.
And yeah, the background is kind of it's like a role-playing thing for the most part, but it could add a lot to your character. And I like rolling randomly because
it's fun.
You role-play. You take something that you didn't expect and make something out of it. So 4.
4 is Thieves Guild. You have connections, contacts, and debts. And for myself, 8. A jeweler. You can easily appraise value and authenticity.
And see, with what I rolled with the Thieves Guild, where I also have a connection but a debt, that could be that maybe that's how I got into being a wizard, or I borrowed money to get my spell book, or, that kind of thing,
Nice.
Where it can get shaken down later. And so that adds a little bit to the game. Mm-hmm. And I like things like that.
And next we have alignment. So there are 3 basic alignments: chaotic, lawful, or neutral. And those are choice. So you can just choose who you want to be. As a goblin, I'm probably going to go chaotic.
And I think I was gonna lean that way too, but I'm thinking now I'll be a little bit different. I'm gonna go with neutral. You know, trying to walk the line, and maybe that's another thing that can be taken advantage with the connection to the Thieves Guild.
Mm-hmm. So that's what's fun about rolling randomly. I think you can you start to get ideas. Your character starts to take shape as you're...
And instead of, and this is just an opinion, instead of having this big thing where you come to the table with this background and all this thing, you're building it with this, and it also doesn't, you don't hand over your magnum opus to the DM of how you want to play the game and the world, and they look at it and go. Now, some DMs love that. They world build like that. But if you're looking to just quickly get into it, get into the dungeon, or go on an adventure, raid the castle, I think this is a lot better.
Yeah.
So, with the alignment, sorry.
Go ahead.
With the alignment, it works with the title. So, you get a slightly different title, which also kind of adds some world flavor. Mm-hmm. So, if you're a chaotic priest, what do you end up being called?
Chaotic priest, you are an initiate. So I'm an initiate, and you are a neutral wizard, so you are a shaman.
Oh, see, I wouldn't have called myself that, but this kind of gives a different take.
Yeah. So the next thing would be starting gear. So we'll do our shopping here in a minute, but basically you start with 2d6 times 5 gold.
Ooh. So it's 2d6 times 5, so 15 gold. That's not good.
And I got 25 gold. So both of us are going to be starting with a crawler's pack.
Yeah, because
that's the basic, adventuring gear. So the way gear works here is you have gear slots.
Rather than encumbrance.
Right. So your gear slots are equal to your strength score or 10, whichever is higher. Mm-hmm. So in my case, with a strength of 7, I'm going to have 10 gear slots. The crawler's pack includes things like your flint and steel, a couple of torches, some rations, grappling hook, rope, things like that. It costs 7 gold. It takes up 7 slots. So between my armor and weapons, I only have 3 spots left to take.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to that. I have 11 strength, so I'm not going to have a lot. And also, what's very important in this game is your light source. So you might even think about buying a few extra torches, because when the lights go out, nothing good comes out of the dark.
Right. And then finally, spells.
Yeah, and I think as a wizard, I think I looked this over before.
I think you get 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, level 1 wizard has 3 spells known. Level 1 priest has 2 spells known. And those spells come from the class lists. So we'll just swing over to page 50 real quickly here.
Well, I took a peek at it earlier, and I kind of know what I'd want.
Okay.
Of course, go with Magic Missile, you're a wizard. Mm-hmm. And then Detect Magic, because you're going to be the guy that everybody's going to say, is that magic? And then the last one I thought Light. So in the chance I don't have a torch, I might be able to cast that. And this isn't exactly like regular Vancian magic. You can cast your spell as much as you'd like, except for when you fail it or fumble it, then you can't cast it no more. Fumble, you're going to roll on a chart. So that's kind of like Dungeon Crawl Classic has a like that, where Wild Magic in D&D has that kind of thing. But yeah, you fumble, it's really bad. You fail, you don't get to use the spell again until you take a rest. So again, it eliminates tracking.
But if you're successful, you can keep using those spells over and over and over again until you fail.
Right.
So you could be either really lucky or really unlucky. And then for priests, I get to choose 2. I'm going to choose Cure Wounds, of course, and Holy Weapon. So, and that's it. That's a character.
Yeah. It's a character, and good thing it's quick and easy. So when you do meet your fate, you can roll up another one.
Yep. Yeah, very quick, very easy. And that was pretty much it. Character creation. Now we're ready to start playing. So hopefully that'll be soon. And I think that's it.
Thank you for watching, and please take a moment to like and sub.